Well, it seems like popular demand. There's a lot of people that want to know, how can I create my own letters and use them and stitch them out? So I'm just going to show you something that I do. I use Hatch, and I'm Hatch 3, not the cheapest program in the world, but it does work for what I want to do. I know there's another program called Cuts a lot. I don't use that very much, but that's also another program, and I have a video from somebody who is already using that to create their own letters too. It's a tedious process, takes some time, but it works very well. Now, how I started this was I bought the Stahls version of letters that were available from Stahls themselves. That did cost about $150 a few years ago, but it has a auto stitch category, and I'll show you those where the letters already come in a couple different fonts. But maybe you want to use a different kind of font, then you can do that too. That's a whole different video. However, I'm going to show you what happens when I use the Stahl letters and how I do the different jackets and things that I create. And then I'm also going to make another video that maybe you have a specific design that you want to create. So here we go. First off, I'm going to pick my hoop, which in this case is going to be the 200 by 360, because I only have a Topaz 50 that I'm doing all this on. So I'm even doing this from a single needle machine, which some people seem to find amazing. So here's the hoop that I have. And what I do, if you have the Stahls letter and you're working in the actual design, I go here to insert design because these designs are already made. So here's letters. So for example, I'm gonna do, I've seen this one here. We're gonna do love. So I'm gonna put in an L. Oh, hold on, those are too big. Let me go to, let's do 4-inch letters just for the heck of it. One of the problems you might run into is that with the 4-inch letters, they might be a little bit too big and you're going to have to do multiple hoopings. That's a whole different video too. But I'm going to go here to the 4-inch letters and I'm going to choose a single color, and I'm going to grab the word L, and then I just move it, try to line it up. I have to go back and insert design again, and I do the letter O, and I'll move it over. Now these aren't going to be in the exact location quite yet. I just need to get them all on here. Here's the letter V, and then last one, the letter E. Only reason I did this because this will be a single hoop. Now, once you get all of your letters in, then I'm going to highlight all of them. I'm going to hit center so it moves it to the center. The other thing I'm going to do is here in Hatch, this section where you can do grouping and ungrouping, I'm going to tell it to align the bottom. It will align the bottom, and I'm also going to space evenly across. So it kind of stretches it out, spaces it pretty even. So I'm going to go with what it gives me. Now, this is where it gets to be real interesting. Over here is the actual stitch out. As you can see, it starts with red, which is your outline, and then I go down through here. You'll see it has the actual stitching. Now, what I do is I will go through and I will create an outline around these letters. But before I even set that up, I highlight everything and come down to here and put everything in order. So red's first. Blue never does anything. It's just the stitching item. I don't know why it's there, but I click OK. Then I ungroup everything. So now all my individual stitches for my outlines are at the top and the actual stitch out is at the bottom. So then I go in and I don't like these little spaces. You don't have to keep them there, but I get rid of all the spaces, and you'll also notice that it will also get rid of that blue stitch. Now, from here, I will click all the way down and highlight all of these, and I come over to outline. This is where I can use the export for my Cricut. So I click on outline, I come back over, I right click and close the shape with a straight line. Once I do that, now this is ready just for the outline. I go to File, Export the Cut, tell it to export the selected objects only, and pick where I'm just going to drop it in my download folder. And let's call it Love Example. All right, so that's just my letters. All right, so now that I have my letters sent out, I'm going to move some of these closer. So you have to highlight the whole entire letter. Reason being is because I ungrouped everything. So I'm going to have to highlight each letter and move it. Otherwise, I could just click on it and move it. But I'm going to highlight each one, move it over a little, because I like putting a solid outline around everything. So here, I'm going to move them closer together. All right. Then I'm going to highlight everything, tell it to align the bottom. See what happens when you ungroup it? Hold on. So align, shoot. Okay, so you can't do that. Guess what? Because I've ungrouped it, everything will move. So what I have to do is I have to highlight each letter and I check my positioning. So it's negative 0 to 9. So that means this next one here should be negative 0, 1 to 9. That's the problem when you do that ungrouping. Now this one has 0, 9, 1. I'm going to make it to 9. See how it moved it up? And this one is also negative 0 to 9. All right, now let's try this again. I'm going to highlight all of them, and I'm going to go to Create an Outline, and I'm going to do 0.15 on a single run. So what it does is it goes and it puts an outline around everything. Now, the bigger you do the outline, the less you'll have these kind of characters in between. But if you don't want those, these are going to be cuts that are going to be in Cricut. Now, as it is right now, it would cut it out like this. If I wanted to get rid of these, I would just click on them and delete them. So now here is my outline. That's what this is right here. I'm going to click this button, push it to the top, make sure it's clicked on outline, right click, and where it says close shape with a straight line, if that's okay, then that's perfectly fine. So now I can export this, and this is going to be my Love outline cut, and it's going to my folder. Now, so I've got this and I've got these. Now I do have to change the color, because when I change the color when I'm stitching it out, my machine's going to stop. So I normally do my outline in red, my letters, I highlight all of those, and I usually make those yellow as far as the stitch out. All right, so now that we've got that, we got one more thing we need to do. I need to make duplicates of my outline because I want the zigzag stitch to go all the way around them. So here I'm going to duplicate it, move it to the top. Now here I'm going to choose the second one, and I'm going to change it to zigzag. Now when I change it to zigzag, see it gives me a zigzag stitch. However, there's a couple things I do extra. I click on offset because I want it to move more to the inside of my outline. In addition to that, I go to stitching and take the underlay off. So now you can see that the stitching will be to the inside of the outline and it goes all the way around. Here's an extra little stitch I don't need, and there's one right there. All right, so now that I have that set, let me show you how it would stitch out. All right, I'm going to go hit the player, and I'm going to speed it up. So see, I've got my 3 colors. I am still missing a color, but here's how it's going to look so far. It goes through, does the zigzag, does the individual, and then it comes back. All right? So this red is incorporating 2 different things. Let's go back to the top. These are both red. So I'm going to change this one. I usually make this purple. So my outline that I have here is red. This is the purple stitching. These are my outline for my letters. And then this is the zigzag stitching. Now the question is, how do I get this cut out? Well, that's next. And with the magic of the internet and Screencast-O-Matic, I am in my Cricut. So here I go to my projects or my stuff. I don't know why I do that, but you see some of the ones that I have here already. I have brought them in and I cut them out. So let me show you how to load it up. Okay, so I go to a new project, blank canvas. I'm going to go to upload. I'm going to move this. I go to upload. And I go to upload image. So I go and find my files. The first one is my, wrong one. So here's my love outline. I'm going to click on that and hit open. So there's the outline. I'm going to hit continue and I'm just going to upload it. So there's the outline for the back of the word love. Now I always go in, let me shrink a little bit here, and I check the sizes. So I'm going to roll up here, and here's my outline. I'm going to click on it, and you notice it says width is 11.889 and the height is 4.366. So what I will do is I will go back to Cricut, 11.889 and 4.366. So that one is ready to cut. So I save it. I'm going to call it Love Background. All right. And then I'm going to bring in my letters next. So next I go to New, Blank Canvas, and I'm going to go and upload. And this time I'm uploading the letters. So here are the letters. I open it up, continue, and upload it, and I check the size on each one of my letters. But before I do that, I'll show you a trick. See how this O gets filled in? Now, I don't know if this is because of the Stahls letters, but I have to click on this, and I slice it. Then I delete the slice. So now I have them all together. You can weld these if you want, or you can have it to where it cuts them out individually. It doesn't really matter. So now I can go and check the size of my letters. So I'll roll down. Here's the letter L. It's 2.669 and it's 4.008. So when I click on it, I have to click in the group 2.669.4008. So you do that for each individual letter. Now, when you're done, you go ahead and you hit Make. I don't want to necessarily save the project, but it will cut those particular letters out. You will also cut out your outline. But you thought you were done? Nope, You're not done yet. Now that you've got your outline, the only way you really figure that you can test it is you have to just try it out. So once again, I'll show you how it stitches. I'll slow it down a little. See, it did the red, that's the outline. Then it does I do zigzag stitch. You could do satin also, but I do a zigzag stitch around. Then here's each individual letters. So then you place those letters on your embroidery field, because remember, after each one of these colors, the machine is going to stop and let you place the letter. Then it goes and it stitches the color, whatever you decide to make the color. It doesn't have to be green, but this is just one of the colors that I use to stop the machine, and it's consistent for me. And it stitches it out. And that's pretty much how I do this using Stahls' existing letters. Now, you can buy these letters from Stahls that are pre-cut, or you can do like I do, and you can get the letters cut out on your own, but this background outline is something that you have to create. One other thing, Stahls does have letters, and I'll show you here. They do have letters that are two-color. So if you want it, you can get both letters, and it's got the inside and the outside, but you can't put them together. It's each individual letter has an outline for itself. So I had stopped using those because the way that I do my jackets, I like to use my own outline. It lets me control the design a little bit better. So this is the first time I've made a video, so I'm hoping it helps you understand how to use the Stahls letters, how to turn them into a applique that you can use, and how you could stitch them out on your machine.